Okay, welcome everyone, and a good evening on this wonderful Sunday evening. Thank you for joining me as we are sponsored by Baruch Ian, Lili Nishmas Yaakov Chaim Ben Abba, Esther Bas Yona, Avram Ben Shmuel HaKohen, by Shalom Fogel, Lili Nishmas Yaakov Zeb Ben Yehuda Aryeh, Rivka Bas Yaakov Yosef, Tzivya Miriam Bas God, Yosef Ben Sion Ben Yaakov Zev, and for a great shidduch for Chayat Tzivya Bas Shoshana Gittel. We're sponsored by A.B. Spry. We're sponsored by A.B. Spry, L'Fur Shalema, for Toiba Rosa Bas Hindel, and for great zivugim for their daughter and grandchildren. We're sponsored for the spiritual, emotional, physical protection for Yeshua Menachem Mendel, Ben Bela, Shendel Rivka. We're sponsored by Menachem Yamansky with the Tfil to Hashem, that all those that are looking for a zivik should find it quickly and easily, and by Eddie Chazan for the safety of Am Yisrael and the Yeshua of the IDF and their protection. Binyamin Ben Brada, he should be released from jail and sent back to his family quickly and easily. Okay, welcome everyone as we have a triple header tonight. We're hoping to do the Daf, which is a long one, an enjoyable one and a long one, and then a Chok, and then a Mishnah Yomis as we celebrate the finishing of Masechtas Avos and the start of the final Masechta in Seder Nezikin, Masechtas Horia. So let's get on to it. We start with tragedy, that Rabbi Hanina ben Tradian was going to be executed for the teaching of Torah. 3 lines from the bottom of Yud Zayin Amud Beis. Asiyua l'Rab Chanina ben Tradian. They brought Rab Chanina ben Tradian in. Amru lei. The tribunal asked him, Amaika asakta baraisa, why did you learn Torah? Amalahu, he said, I did it because kasher tzivani Hashem Elokai. That's what Hashem, my God, commanded me to do. Miyad, immediately Gazra alav l'sreifa, they decreed that he should be burnt. Val ishtay lahariga, that his wife should be beheaded. Val bitay leisha bekuba shel zainas, and that his daughter should be consigned to a brothel of harlots. Now, alav l'sreifa, the Gemara now says that nothing happens unless tzaddikim are judged kechut asara, that there was some kind of a guilt on the part of Rab Chanina ben Tradian. And the Gemara says his guilt was shehayahoige es Hashem ba'oisiyos. He pronounced the Yud Kei Vav Kei in its real way, and not the way we say it, Aleph Daled Nun Yud. And others say that he said the Shem Mem Beis Oisiyos, pronouncing the ineffable name of 42 letters, says the Gemara. But how could he do that? Rabbi Chanina ben Tradian was a great tzaddik. How could he do that? The following don't have a portion in the afterlife. If somebody says Torah is not from heaven, and there's no resurrection, also one who pronounced the Yud Kei Vav Kei in its real way. Says the Gemara, l'slamed of it. He only did it in order to learn it, and you're allowed to do it if you're doing it to learn it, to teach it to himself. Kedetanya, it says lo silmad lasais. You should not learn to perform. Aval atalamad, but you could learn it lahavin, to understand it, ulaharais, and to teach. Elamai time he anish. So then, if he did it in a permitted way, why was he punished? Mishum hoiges Hashem b'farhesia, because he said it in public, and that he shouldn't have done. Now the Gemara says, so why was his wife also executed? Val ishtei la'ariga, and his wife to be executed. Why delay michabe? Because she should have protested. She was a knowledgeable woman, and she should have protested. And Mikan Amru kol mi sheyesh biyadoi limchais ve'ein amaycha. If somebody is able to protest and they don't protest, nenesh alav, they're also punished. That's a very weighty thing that if a person has the opportunity to protest and they don't, they're also nitfas al oisai avain. They're also held accountable for that sin. Va'al bitay leisha bekuba shel zainis. Why was the daughter fated to be consigned to a brothel? The Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Pam achas haisabitay ma'alechas lifnei gedolei Raimi. One time the daughter of Rab Chanina ben Tradian was passing by the Roman senators, Amru, and they commented, Kama na'is psi'oisav psi'oisah shel rivazu. How dainty, how nice are the footsteps of this young maiden. Now, when she heard that, she took care to walk nicely. Miyad diktika b'psi'oiseha. She took care to walk in a dainty manner. The sin of my footsteps surrounded me. Even the sins that a person does with their feet, with their heels in this world, they surround them, and this breach of tznius on her extremely high level costed her. When the three of them were being taken out to their sentencings, they each pronounced that Hashem is righteous, and they justified their punishment. Hu Amar, Rab Chanina ben Tradian said, Atzur Tomim Pa'alo, the rock, Hashem was the rock, our security, his ways are perfect. The Ishtai and the wife, Amra, Kel Emuna ve'ein Amal. He's a faithful God with no injustice. Bitai Aimer, and his daughter said, also quoting a pasuk, Gadol ha'etza, great is your counsel, Gadol ha'etza, V'rav ha'alila, and great are your deeds. Asher einecha pekucha isal kol darchei b'nei adam. You oversee all the ways of man. Lo alseish le'ish kidrachav, to deliver a person exactly according to their ways. V'chrim malolav, and according to the fruits of their actions. Amar Rebbe, Kama gedolim tzadikim alolu. How great are these righteous people? Shenizdamnu lahem shalosh mikroi shel tzidik adin. That it came to their mind these three perfect psukim to justify Hashem's actions b'shas tzidik adin, when they needed to pronounce a justification. Tan Rabbanan, and this is connected to the execution of Rab Chanina ben Tradian. Tan Rabbanan kishechalu Rabbi Yossi ben Kisma. When Rabbi Yossi ben Kisma took ill, halach Rab Chanina ben Tradian levakra. Rabbi Chanina ben Tradian went to visit him. You know, usually it says a lashon of ol, that they went up because the shechina is by the bed of the chayla, so going to visit the sick is always considered like going up. Halach Rabbi Chanina ben Tradian levakra. Rabbi Chanina ben Tradian went to visit him. Amalai Chanina achi. Now Rabbi Chanina ben Tradian was teaching Torah in public. So he said to him, Chanina achi, Chanina my brother, don't you know that this wicked Roman nation was coronated by Hashem and given the license to destroy the temple complex, to burn the Kodesh, and to kill the pious ones, v'ibda es toivav, and to make perish our best, v'adayin hi kayemes, and it's still thriving, v'ani shamati alech, and I heard the disturbing news, sh'ata yoshev v'oisik b'Torah, you are sitting and learning Torah, o makil kilas barabim, and you're gathering kilas barabim, and you're not even teaching Baal Peh, v'sefer munach l'cha b'cheikecha, and you have a sefer Torah in your lap. Amalai, so Rabbi Chanina ben Tradian said, Min hashamayim yirachamu. They'll have mercy from heaven. Amalai, so Rabbi Yossi ben Kisma chided him. Ani omer lecha dvarim shel tam. I'm telling you a matter of reason. I'm telling you what you're doing is a sakana. V'ata omer li min hashamayim yirachamu, and you push me off by saying that heaven will have mercy. Tameya ani, I would be shocked im lo yisrafu oischa, if they don't burn you v'sefer Torah be'esh, and the sefer Torah with fire. Amalai, so Reb Chanina ben Tradian said, Rebbe, ma ani l'chaya elam haba, what am I in the afterlife? Amalai, so he asked him, klum ma'isa bali yadcha, did you do anything of special worth? Amalai, so he says, I'll tell you, Rebbe, Moishel Purim nischalfuli b'moishel tzedakah. I mixed up money that was reserved for matanas of Yainim, for Purim, with money of tzedakah. V'chalaktem laniyim, and I gave the matanas of Yainim to poor people during the year. And therefore, I replenished, since I illegally gave away the matanas of Yainim, I replenished that amount from my own funds. Amalai, he said to him, Im kain, if so, may chelkecha yehei chelki, from your lot should be my lot, from your portion, yehi gairali, should be my portion. And the Gemara says, what Rabbi Yosef ben Kisma said would happen, indeed happened. Amru lo haya yamim mu'atim, it wasn't many days, ad shenifta Rabbi Yosef ben Kisma, until Rabbi Yosef ben Kisma passed away. V'holchu kol gedaymei raimi l'kavrei, and he was a man who was known even amongst the Romans, and they went to honor him at his funeral. V'spidu hesped gadol, and there was a great eulogy. Ubechazarasan, and on the return, mitzaul Reb Chanina ben Tradian, they found Reb Chanina ben Tradian sheyoshev v'oisik b'Torah. He was sitting and learning Torah, makil kilos barabim, and gathering huge crowds of Sefer Torah munach lo b'cheikai, with a Sefer Torah on his lap. Hevi'uhu, they immediately brought him ukrachu b'Sefer Torah, and they wrapped him in the Sefer Torah, v'kifu b'chavila izmairis, and they put bundles of vines, v'tzisu b'hanes ha'or, and that's combustible, and they lit fire onto the vines. V'viu svugin shel tzemer, then they brought tufts of wool, ushram b'mayim, soaking them in water, v'nicham alibay, and put him on his heart. They wanted him to suffer, and put it on his heart, kadei shaloi teitzei nishmasei meher, in order that his soul should not leave quickly. Amalei Bitai, so Reb Chanina ben Tradian's daughter said, Abba eracha bekach, oy father, that I should see you like this. Amalah, he said to her, Imolei ani nisrafti levadi, if I was being burned myself, hayadav kashali. But actually, shani nisr v'sefer Torah imi, but now that I am being burned together with a Sefer Torah, Misha Mevakesh Albaina Shel Sefer Torah Hashem, who's going to certainly demand retribution for the insult to the Torah, who Yavakesh Albaina, he's also going to demand retribution from what's happening to me. Amrulay Talmidav, so his disciples said, Rebbe Ma'ataraya, what vision do you see? Amalahen Gevila Nisrafim, the parchments are being burnt, but the Oisiyais Parchis, but the letters are flying up. So they said, Rebbe, open your mouth so the fire should enter and you should expire quickly. The fire should enter so that you shouldn't suffer. It's better that the one who gave me life should take it, rather than I should usher in my death. The executioner said, Rebbe, if I add fire, and I take the wool away from your heart, will you bring me into the next world? He said, yes. He shavali, will you swear to me? Nishbalai, he swore to him. Miyad hirba b'shal heves, he increased the fire. He took tufts of wool from his heart, and Yatsa Nishmasei b'Meheira, he passed away quickly. Afu Kafetz Menafel L'Seicha Ur, the executioner also jumped into the fire. Yatsa Basko v'Amra, Abasko went out and said, Rabbi Chanina ben Tradian u'Kalatz Doniri, both Rabbi Chanina ben Tradian and the executioner, Muzumanin Hein L'Chaya Elam Haba, are ready for the next world. Bacha Rebbe v'Amar, yes.
Takes it away. So why here is he allowing or asking or being master to die faster?
I think that the answer is that he wouldn't be ma'abed atzmai medas, but if it would be, the executioner is the one that does the execution. So then that would be part of the gezerah, that would be okay. He just couldn't do it, be a dayan. Now, so Bacha Rebbe v'Amar, Rebbe cried and said, Yesh koina ilamai b'sha achas, there is a person that acquires his olam haba in one moment, v'yesh koina ilamai b'kama shanim, and then there are people that acquire their olam haba in many years. In other words, although a person could acquire it in one moment, of course, that's not the same as people that acquire olam haba in many years, and the cumulative amounts of their learning Torah and their giving tzedakah and their shalom bayis will add up to a much, much, much greater olam haba. Now we have a tragic story of Bruria. Bruria de Bisaya de Rab Meir, Bruria, who was the wife of Rab Meir, Brate de Rab Chanina ben Tradian. She was another daughter of Rab Chanina ben Tradian. Amrullah, she said to him, Zila bi Milsa, it's a disgrace. The Yosva Aksai bikuba shel Zainis, that my sister is in a place, in a brothel. This, by the way, this is a very unusual thing, that the reason that she said is because Zila bi Milsa. I mean, the reason is I feel bad for my sister that she's being violated. She's doing it because of Zila bi Milsa. It's disgraceful to me. I don't know why it says it that way. But anyway, Shakal Tarkava Didinre, Rameir took, Tarkava is a tray v'kav. That means he took 3 kav of dinare, a huge amount of money, v'azal, and he went. And he said, I'm going to see if she's worthy for miracles. Amar, ilo yis'ava isura, if she didn't do iser, then mis'ava nisa, then she will merit to have a miracle. He avad isura, but if she did do an iser, lo yis'ava lo nisa, she won't merit a miracle. So azal nakad nafshe kechat parsha. He disguised himself like a Roman cavalry man. Amallah, and he said, Hashmi Ainili, submit to me. Amallah, she said to him, Dushtanana, I'm a nida, I'm bleeding. Amallah, Misrachna Mirsach, I'll wait for you. I'll wait till you stop bleeding. Amallah, so she said, Nefishin Tuva Deshvir Minai, there's plenty of girls here that are prettier than me. Amar, so when Rameir heard that, he said, Shmami no lo yavdi surah. It seemed to me that she didn't do any iser. Called the Asi Amr Lehachi. Whoever comes, she tells this excuse. So Azal the Gabe Shomer Dida, he went to the guard of the brothel, Amalei, and he said to him, Hava Nihali, give her to me. Amalei, so he said, Mistafeina Mimalchusa, I can't release her. I'm afraid of the government. She's a high profile. This was a punishment from the Romans. Amalei, so he said, Shkol Tarkava Didinra, take these 3 kav of dinare, palga plach, half of it, whenever they ask you, give them a bribe, or palga lahavilach, and half should be for you. Amalei v'chi show me my evad, and when I use up the money and they keep on coming and asking me where she is, what do I do? Amalei, so he said to him, Ema elokad de Meir aneni, say, God of Meir, answer me, umitatzlas, and you'll be saved. So he said, Amalei mi emadachi ika, who says that this, hocus pocus works, elokad de Meir aneni, Amalei hashtachazas, he says, I'll prove it to you. Have a no kalve, there were dogs that were devouring people, very dangerous dogs, cannibalistic dogs. Shakal kala, he took a clod of earth, shadabahu, and he threw it at one of these wild dogs. The dog ran at him to eat him. Amar elakad the Meir aneni, he said, the God of a Meir should answer me. Shavkua, and the dog left him alone. So when the guard saw that, the Yavale, he took the money, and he released the daughter of Chanina ben Tradian to him. L'seif ishtama milsa bei malka. This was heard about by the king. Asyua, they arrested him, and Askul is a kifa, and they tried to hang him. Amar elakad Meir aneni, he said, God of Meir, answer me. Achsua, and they took him down. They saw that they couldn't hang him. So Amalei, they said to him, my hi, what is this? Elakad Meir aneni. Amalahu hachi ave maisa, that this man came, and he said, if you say elakad Meir aneni, you'll be saved. So asu chakaku l'demusei de Rameir, they came and they made an image of Rameir apischa de Rameir, by the gateways of Rome. Imre, they said, kol dechazi leputzufa hadain, whoever sees this man's image, laise, bring him. Yuma chad, one day, chazui, they saw him. Ra'at abasrai, they chased him. Ra'at mikamayu, and he ran away from them. All the Zainis, and he ran into a brothel. Ikidamre, some say that Bishule Ovid Kachavim Chaza, he saw a gayish of food, some pork. Tamish Baha, he stuck in one finger, Umasik Baha, and he sucked another finger. But it made it look like he was eating the gayish of food, and therefore they left him alone, because they knew Rameir wouldn't eat gayish of food. Ikidamre, Asi Eliyahu, Idamalu Kizayna. Eliyahu appeared like a Zayna, like a harlot, and Karchase, and hugged him. Imre, they said, Chas v'shalom Rameir hava, if this was the saintly Rameir, le'ave ovid hachi, he wouldn't have done this, so they left him alone. However, he realized that his time was, his time was measured. So come Orak Asal Bavel. Rameir went and fled to Bavel. Ikadamre Mahai Maisa. Some say it's because of this incident where he released the daughter of Reb Chanina ben Tradian. The Ikadamre Mamaisa de Bruria. Others say it was because of the very sad story of his wife Bruria. The Gemara tells us elsewhere that Bruria had a problem with that which it says Noshim Daitan Kalas, that women, they're Daitan Kalas, they're easily swayed. And she didn't accept it. So they tested her, and they had one of Rameir's disciples flirt with her and test her honor as a married woman. And after resisting it, she finally succumbed. And when it was found out that as a married woman she succumbed to this adultery, she hung herself. And Rameir, out of embarrassment, fled to Bavel. It's a sorry story of Bruria. Okay, we're holding by the first wide line, and now I could welcome in our wonderful Zoomers here as we welcome in Baruch Ian. It's good to have you, Baruch. Dr. Black, Yaakov Warman, Yisrael Fisher, Yitzi Fuchs, Eddie Chazan, Shalom Fogel, Mel Zachter, Ben Sion Cohen, Saba, Shelley Zeitlin, Menachem Umansky. Menachem, it was great having your Rebbe on yesterday. Marshall Castle, Rabbi Kranz, Michael, Dr. Guy, Abe Arbach, Michael Avram, who we welcome back, Stephen Holtzman, Moshe Lehman, Nachman Chapler, Yitzi Muller, Danny Vogel, Yeshutman, Yoshua Shmuel Eisenberg, David Helfgott. Says the Gemara, as we're holding by the first wide line on Daf Yud Ches Amid Beis, Tan Rabbanan, HaHoylech Litztadinan, one who goes to the arena where gladiators fight, Ulekarkam, or one who goes to a stadium, and in the stadium, V'ra Sham Es HaNechoshin, and he sees fortune tellers, Vesachavorim, and snake charmers, Bukyin, Umukyin, Umulin, Velulyan, Bluryan, and Salgurin. These are types of jesters, jugglers, clowns, acrobats. Harizem Moishev Leitzim, it's a gathering of Litzanas. V'aleim HaKosav Aimer Ashriya Isha Asher Lo Yholach Ba'atzas V'shom U'B'derech Ashriya Isha Asher Lo Yholach Ba'atzas V'shom U'B'derech Hatom Lo Amad U'B'Moishev Leitzim Lo Yoshev Kiyim B'Seiras Hashem Chetzah. His pursuit should be in the Torah Hashem. Holamadita Shedvarim Halalu, these pursuits Mevian As Adam L'Dei Bittul Torah. So the Gemara says, but V'raminu, but we learned in a different brisa differently. V'raminu holchen litztadinin mutter. You could go to the arena of the gladiator, mipnei shetzavach umatzel, because sometimes when the gladiator has the victim down, if the crowd screams for mercy, they give mercy. Ulekarkam mutter, and you're allowed to go to a circus. You're allowed to go to a circus. Mipnei Yishuv Medina. Now, generally, this circus was in a siege. When they set siege against a city, they had entertainment. And if you participate, you're able to petition to save the city. As long as you don't join them and numbered in the siege against the city. Of course, if you're counted as making the siege stronger, also. So kasha itztadinan itztadinan, it's shver an arena on arena, and kasha karkam akarkam, the circus on the circus. Bishlam akarkam akarkam lekasha. So the difference is whether you're numbered in them in the siege or not. Kan b'mischashav imam, when you're counted in the siege, making the siege more threatening and powerful. Kan b'she'em mischashav imam, when you're not counted with them. Ela itztadinan itztadinan kasha. The arena on the arena is kasha. Says Gemara Tanoihi. You're right. It's a machlokes Tanoim. The Tanya, ein holchen letztadinin. You can't go to such an arena. Mipnei Moshev Leitzim, because it is a assemblage of scoffers. While Reb Nosson matter mipnei shnei dvarim, Reb Nosson permits it for two reasons. Reb Nosson matter mipnei shnei dvarim. Reb Nosson permits it for two reasons. Echad mipnei shetzayvach umatzel, when the gladiator gets his victim down and he's about to kill him, if a lot of the crowd asks for mercy, sometimes they don't kill him. The echad, and also if he does kill the person and he's a Jew, they'll be able to testify that the wife could remarry. The echad mipnei shemeyed edus isha la'asiyah, that she should know that her husband was killed and that she should be able to remarry. Tan Rabbana. Ein holchen letartiyos ulekirkisiyos. You shouldn't go to theaters and to circuses, because they gather there for the benefit of idolatry. Divrei Meir. The Chachamim Aimrim, Makom Shemizablim Aser Mibnei Chshad Avodas Kechavim, where they gather and do business for idolatry, that's forbidden. Or Makom She'ein Mizablim Sham, and where they don't gather, Aser Mibnei Moshav Leisen. It's also because it's an assemblage of scoffers. My Beinai, what's the difference between the two? Either way, it's Aser. The difference is if you did business with them. According to Reb Meir, there's always an angle of Avoda Zara, and therefore the proceeds are aser. According to Rabbanan, which is if they're not a place of Avoda Zara, and it's only because of Moshav Leitzim, if you did business with them, the proceeds are not forbidden. Dorish Reb Shimon ben Pazi, my dichsiv, what is that which is written? Fortunate is the man who doesn't go according to the counsel of the wicked, and he doesn't stand with the sinners, and in the counsel of the scoffers he doesn't sit. Now, if you didn't even go, how are you going to be standing there? If you're not standing there, how could you sit? We delete the last part. The Diptukei Seifrim deletes it because it doesn't say that in the pasuk. If you go there, it's very, very addictive. If you go there, Seifel Lamed, you'll end up standing there. V'im Amad, and if you stand there, Seifel Leishiv, you're going to end up sitting. V'im Yashiv, and if you sit there, you're going to act like them, and you're going to be cynical, and you're going to scoff. Im Yashiv, Seifel Lalutz, you're going to end up scoffing. V'im Lutz, and if you act with mockery and scoffing, all of Akasav Aimer, Im Chochamta, Chochamtalach. If you're wise, the wisdom will be yours. V'latzcha, but if you scoff, Levatcha Tisa, you will have to bear the fallout of your scoffing, which we'll see it's Gehenim and all kinds of terrible things. We know that a person that's scoffing, he makes out of everything serious a joke. And a scoffer, it says, Litzanas achas doicha mea teichachas. One litzanas pushes away 100 rebukes. A person that's a letz, I told you once that letz is made up of a lamed and a tzaddik. He thinks he's lamad, he thinks he's learned, and he thinks he's a tzaddik. He doesn't have to listen to anybody. He knows better. He makes fun of everybody. That's a terrible thing. As the Gemara will tell us, the ills and the poison of litzanas. Amar Rabbi Lazar, kol hamitzleitzeit, whoever acts and scoffs and mocks, Yisurin ba'an alav, he gets suffering. As it says, va'ata, and now, al titzleitzitzu, don't be a scoffer. Pen yelzakum ma'isreichem, lest I will strengthen your suffering. Amalu Rabba l'Rabbanan, Rabba said to the rabbis, b'matusa, I plead with you. B'matusa, b'ina minaychu, I plead with you. The loy titzleitzitzu, that you shouldn't be cynical. The loy leisu alaychem yisurin, that you shouldn't bring upon yourself suffering. Amrav Katina, kala mitzleitzitz, whoever scoffs, mizaynoisav mismatin, his livelihood will become less. Shenemar moshach yodoi es loitzitzin. Hashem will withdraw his hand from the scoffers. Amar Shimon Lakish, kol hamitzleitzitz, whoever scoffs, noifel beganim, will fall in Gehenim. Shenemar zayd yohir, one who is willful and arrogant, late shemai, he's a scoffer. Oisa be'evras zodain, he does in his willful wrath. Now, evra is a key word for Gehenim. Ve'ein evra el Gehenim, shenemar yom evra, a day of wrath, is hayom ahu, is the day of Gehenim. Now, the Gemara tells us, just like litzanas, the Gemara tells us that just like litzanas is a bad thing, the truth of the matter is that arrogance, haughtiness, is also a bad thing. Person that's haughty, he thinks he knows everything. Doesn't need to listen to anybody. Amr Oishia Kol HaMisyar, whoever acts with arrogance, Neifel B'Gehenna. Shenema, quoting the same pasuk, Zayd Yair, one who is willful and full of pride. Late Shemai, he's a scoffer. Oisa be'evra zadon, he does in willful wrath. Ve'ein evra ele Gehenim, and evra is Gehenim. Shenema yoim evra yoim ahu. Amr Rabbi Tanchem Bar Chaniloi. Kol HaMitzloitei, whoever acts with litzanas, Goyrem Kloya La'olam, he causes destruction to come to the world. Shenema v'ata, and now, al titzloitzitzu, don't mock, don't be cynical. Pen yechziku ma'isreichem, lest I will strengthen your suffering. Kikala v'nechritza shamati, and eventually I hear destruction and ruin. Amar Rabbi Lazar Kashahi, mockery is very harsh. Shetchilasa Yisurin, it starts with suffering. V'sayfai kloya, and it leads to ruin. Darash of Shimon ben Pazi, Ma'idich Siv Ashriya Ish Asher Loi Holach. What does it mean? Fortunate is he who doesn't go ba'atzas v'sham. Zeh sheloi holach l'tartiyoyis u'l'karkisiyos. That's someone who doesn't go to theaters and circuses, shel oivdei kerchavim, of pagans. Ubederech hatom loy amad, and he doesn't go on the path of the sinners. Zeh sheloi amad b'kingiyon, that's one who doesn't go with the hunt of goyim. Ubemoshev leitzim lo yashav, shelo yashav b'tachbulos, that he doesn't sit amongst their acrobatics and jugglers and jesters. Shema Yomer, lest the person say, Shema Yomer Adam, I didn't go to theaters and circuses, and I didn't go to the hunt. So Elach Vizgar B'Shina, I could go and sleep. Like they say, I'll sleep a bagel, 12 hours. Talmud Leimer U'V'Sarasa Yege Yomam V'Layla. And you should be occupied, meditate in Hashem's Torah day and night. Such should be our lot. What a wonderful daf. I mean, a lot of sad things that are not so wonderful. And a person has to know that he has to stay away from cynicism. Cynicism is a very bad thing. Okay, now, Rabbi Isai, I still am not 100% sure if I'm going to do a chok tonight or tomorrow night. So first I'm going to do the Mishnah Yomis. That we have to do. It's a big simcha. We finish Pirkei Avos and start Masechtas Harius, which is once again going to be sponsored by our good friend Yisrael Fisher, who really is a champion of the Mishnah Yomis.